In global chat, a lot of new players are struggling to play nor even survive as a carnivore in the game. Most struggle for food. Well, this guide is gonna help those players. The basics and how-tos as playing any carnivore in the game. So if you're new to the game or not, share this video to those newbies so they won't keep asking in the chat. If you're new to the game, then you would technically play Deinonychus and Guanlong as your starter carnivores. These dinosaurs are free, fast to grow, so mastering them would be easy in time for you to get your much more expensive carnivore. Part 1. Where's food? First tip is use the compass instead of the minimap when playing. Why? The compass tends to show farther food corpse icons when compared when using the minimap. Although the minimap can still be useful, especially when you're fairly new and unfamiliar with the map or ecosystem that you're playing in. But whenever you're hungry enough, you can always toggle it on and off in the settings. Here I did a little experiment by sacrificing my Camptosaurus on this mud pit. Then I'll show you that in this experiment that the compass is indeed way better than using the minimap. Using my nearby young Tyrannosaurus, I pressed F to sniff around, but as you can see in the minimap, no corpses were shown. And as you can see, the mud pit isn't shown here either, so obviously the corpse won't show. But now toggling on the compass, I can see more than the corpse around me in a far much greater distance, which just proves that the compass is more effective in finding corpses for a carnivore. Now, for everybody, the default "How do I sniff" button is the F key. Your dinosaur would then go through a sniffing animation where it would show these drumstick icons in the map or compass, which means a corpse is in that area, however big or small. The white corpse icon means something has recently died, and it's a freshly made corpse. The green corpse icon means a rotten corpse. This corpse has been there for at least 40 minutes in game time. Rotten corpses are helpful to infectionist-type dinosaurs, such as Acrocanthosaurus, Saurophaganax, Torvosaurus, and Pterodontosaurus. Rotten corpses also speed up the drainage of your hunger when your dinosaur isn't meant to eat rotten corpses. The dinosaurs that are immune to this effect and can eat rotten corpses normally are Ceratosaurus, young Tyrannosaurus, Acrocanthosaurus, Saurophaganax, Torvosaurus, Tyrannosaurus rex, scaled and Alaskanesis, Spinosaurus, Pterodontosaurus, and Concavenator, and all crocodilomorphs. That includes the Mahajangasuchus, Sarcosuchus, Pachimosaurus, and Deinosuchus. So, any dinosaur not mentioned tend to drain a hunger a bit faster when eating rotten corpses, but not fast enough to kill you, so eating rotten corpses is not a death sentence. Another tip for finding food effectively is going into the map hotspots for each ecosystem, where many players hang out, and when there are that many players, it is most likely that there are dead bodies around. But fair warning, that in map hotspots, you are also most likely to get hunted or targeted yourself. Part 2. Growing Apex Carnivores. If you want to know how to obtain your favorite carnivores in the game, you can always watch my video on dinosaur progression. People, when playing any Apex carnivore, you tend to rarely see any preferred food spawning around, especially in the lowlands and archipelago ecosystems. What one can do is to meta game, where you can spawn in as a juvenile preferred food for your dinosaur, since eating your preferred food at a young growth stage is better than eating your preferred food at a later growth stage, since gaining nutrition when at adolescent stage and above can be quite tedious and slow. However, if you haven't owned the preferred food for your Apex carnivore, you can always hunt or feed it another dinosaur that is easy for you to grow. Acrocanthosaurus' preferred food can be fed with Tenontosaurus, Tarbosaurus can be fed with Gallimimus, Torvosaurus can be fed with a Stegosaurus or Apatosaurus corpse, Saurophagnax can be fed with Unanosaurus and Apatosaurus as well. Tyrannosaurus rex can be fed with Edmontosaurus and Triceratops and Ankylosaurus, all of which are near its spawn point. Tyrannosaurus alaskanensis, which is the feathered one, can be fed with the same type of food as Tyrannosaurus rex, but it also has Bapiosaurus as part of its preferred food. Of course, the crocodilomorphs and Spinosaurus can always eat fishes on the rivers and lakes, which are their preferred food. Part 3. Cannibalism. No, just no. Not every dinosaur or playable in the game can eat their own kind. Eating your own kind can be a pretty dick move, especially when you're hunting your own kind that is at a younger growth stage than you. Cannibalizing also decreases your nutrition well-being, which in turn lowers your amber, growth, health points, and damage, which in turn makes your dinosaur overall weaker and prone to dying, more especially when engaging in combat. The only playables that are programmed in the game to be cannibals are Sarcosuchus and Deinosuchus, Tyrannosaurus rex, the scaled one, and two Alaskanensis, since when eating the other type of rex doesn't lower your nutrition. So, do we consider that as cannibalism? Part 4. Coexisting. Low-tier carnivores typically live in a love-hate relationship. Sometimes players kill everything on sight even though there's food, while the half of it, they live in harmony as long as there are food around, especially in hotspots. When you decide to pick which apex carnivore to aim or buy, your first question is, which is better, this or that? Which also sparks debate in the community, but in the end, it is your choice, which dinosaur to pick and grind for, because their choice might not be up to yours. When coexisting with fellow apex carnivores, your best bet to survive is to either get rid of the competition, aka kill them, or just keep a distance, especially when you're a solo player, or when you're far away from your pack members. In the Uplands ecosystem, Acrocanthosaurus and Tarbosaurus are rivals. In the Jurassic ecosystem, Torvosaurus and Saurophaganax are rivals, with the occasional gangs of Yangchuanosaurus. In the Lowlands ecosystem, Tyrannosaurus rex is nearly uncontested, with the occasional Tyrannosaurus alaskanensis and Dynamo Titan within the hotspots, and even sometimes Deinosuchus. In the Archipelago ecosystem, Spinosaurus is uncontested at the moment, unless the Spinosaurus maroccanus decides to contest as well, and the occasional Suchomimus packs and Sarcosuchus duos. But Spinosaurus will be meant to rival Carcharodontosaurus in its ecosystem soon, but Carcharodontosaurus will be land-based, and of course Spinosaurus will be water-based. So I guess Spinosaurus maroccanus and the default one will be the rivals instead, while Carcharodontosaurus will have Giganotosaurus as its rival. And to those who don't know, Carcharodontosaurus will have Giganotosaurus as a skin for it instead, but basically it just looks different but has similar stats. Part 5. Combat 101. Each carnivore has its own specialty in combat and hunting. Leaders such as Dilophosaurus, Allosaurus, Acrocanthosaurus, Concavenator, and the like will tend to bleed your HP out with their attacks. Make sure to run less and try to avoid their attacks as much as possible to avoid getting heavy bleed. Crushers are dinosaurs that can easily break your head and neck. Deinosuchus, Tyrannosaurus rex, and Tarbosaurus are great examples. Getting a broken head will blur your vision in a certain amount of time. However, a broken body, it is better to stay stationary since running with a broken body makes you take damage over time. Ambush hunter type of carnivores rely on their unique abilities to surprise, chase, and damage their prey for that short time. Crocodilomorphs are great examples of this due to their slippery ability which gives them a speed boost when exiting out of water, and their attacks, which are a mix of crush and bleed type. As a carnivore, you are at an advantage when fighting herbivores near corpses. Why? Because of the anti-corpse guarding effect, which triggers when herbivores stay around near corpses. This gives their screen a green wavy effect, which also decreases their nutrition well-being, which, was mentioned before, can give you an advantage in battle. If you want to know more about in-depth PvP and combat terms, you can always watch these videos. And that just sums up surviving as a carnivore in general. However, it all reflects on your playstyle on how you would play the game anyway. I've done this guide since carnivores are much more difficult to play and survive when compared to herbivores and omnivores in the game. And another tip is when you die, it is part of the game. Learn from your mistakes and just move on from it. Until next time.